Hello, this is Gil Olaes with the Exploring Video Games project, and I'm here today to show you some slightly more advanced techniques in Tetris. Now, the article stated the basic rules. Place blocks so that they form unbroken lines in order to gain points and keep yourself from losing the game by making sure that the board doesn't get too full. Like so. And that's a perfectly legitimate way to play the game. But more strategy comes in when you consider that you get more points by clearing consecutive lines at the same time. For example, in this case, I'm going to create a configuration so that when I place one block, I clear 4 lines at once. Now, that gives me more points than if I had just cleared 4 lines individually at random periods of time. The other way to gain more points in the game is by creating a combo, that is, using consecutive block placements in order to clear multiple lines at once. Such as this case where I clear 2 lines with that line block and then another 2 lines with the T-shaped block. That got me 4 lines, but it also got me a bonus than if I had just cleared 4 lines individually at random periods of time. This means that the strategy of the game is less about just making sure that you survive by clearing lines, and more about configuring the block so that you can clear as many lines as you can in the shortest period of time. Now, there are a few strategies to do this. One of the ones that seem the most obvious is to use all of your blocks to create a construction such that there is a 1 unit wide hole on the side of the screen. You continue placing blocks and then store these line blocks which can fit there and potentially clear 4 lines so that when your construction gets high enough you can use it to get a bunch of points every single time that you get a line block. Now this works completely well, and you can actually get a lot of points doing it this way. A lot of Tetris players will make sure that their scores are high by using this technique, and in this case I can get 4 blocks from it. But problems start to come up when you don't actually have the block that you need to work with. For example, in this case, there's really not a spot that I can place this block in without messing up my configuration. So I either have to use my line block or risk just messing up the entire construction and losing the game, which isn't something that you obviously want to have happen. This strategy gets you a lot of points if you can get all of the line blocks that you need whenever you need it, but is there a way to play the game so that we can make sure that we can use all of the other types of blocks as well as the line block in order to clear lines and gain points? And the answer is yes. Let's try playing the game again, except instead of creating a 1 block gap inside the construction, we create a 2 block gap. Now it might not seem as readily apparent how this helps us more than if we just used a gap that's 1 block long, but as I build this up you can see that any block they place in here, other than the line block, has the potential to clear a line. This block will work, this block will work, this block will work, this block will work. You can use any block other than a line block to start off this chain reaction, and that's where the crux of the strategy comes in. You simply build up your pile as high as you can until you feel like you don't or can't build it up any higher, then you just throw a random block in. Then you can get a combo by throwing another random block in, and another one. And in that way, I cleared approximately 6 to 7 lines in using 3 consecutive block placements, whereas if I just used a line block, I would have only cleared 4. And while this strategy does require a lot more setup time and doesn't necessarily get you the points as quickly as you can, because you get more points through clearing 4 lines than you do clearing 1 or 2 or 3, even if it's consecutively, it is a lot more consistent to work with than the other strategy. And that's kind of the beauty of Tetris, is that both of these strategies have their trade-offs. If there was any one answer to how to most efficiently place these blocks, then it wouldn't be much of a competitive game at all, or a game that's been so addictive throughout time, because people would quickly figure out what strategies they would need to use, do them, get really good at the game, and then stop playing it altogether. No. Each strategy that you play in this game has its own consequences, but also its own benefits, and that's the beauty of this game. This has been Gil Olaes with the Exploring Video Games project, and I hope that this video shows you that video games that seem simple at first glance can be a lot more complicated than meets the eye. Thank you.